It felt like it was finally finished, put to rest and left in the past. But somehow, the tension between Kyrie Irving and LeBron has resurfaced. And this time, it's even more complicated. Luka Dončić has now entered the picture, and his presence is only adding fuel to the fire, sparking fresh debates about chemistry and team dynamics. During a recent stream, Kyrie was asked how he felt about Luka potentially joining the Lakers, and his response definitely turned heads.
Warned my brother when he went to the Lakers. You can never be safe around that snake.
And trust me, that clip is just the tip of the iceberg. When you start linking LeBron's connections, the whispers about Lars darker circles, and the speculation around Kyrie and Luka, it begins to feel like this goes far beyond basketball. Suddenly, it's not just drama, it's something much larger, something that could have serious consequences for LeBron's legacy and even the Lakers as an organization. But before going that far, we need to stop acting like the Lakers are just another team, because they are not. Luka Dončić didn't simply arrive in LA to hoop. In many ways, he stepped into something much bigger than the game itself. From the outside, it looks like the dream: bright lights, big moments, global attention. But behind the scenes, it can feel more like a carefully controlled system, one tied to powerful networks like Clutch and Spring Hill, where narratives are shaped and roles are defined long before the game even starts, with LeBron always at the center. That's the kind of environment Kyrie seemed to be hinting at when he subtly warned Luka. It wasn't just about basketball, it was about the kind of world he was stepping into. A world where influence, connections, and image can matter just as much, if not more, than performance on the court. And that's still not even the darkest layer of it all. To really understand how deep this goes, you have to look at moments that people have tried to forget, like that Instagram lip back in 2020, where LeBron stared straight into the camera and said something that still has people talking today.
Everybody know ain't no party like a Diddy party, so.
Yeah, that's what's up. Yeah.
This is supposed to be the most calculated, media-aware athlete of his generation. And yet, there he was, openly referencing those elite celebrity circles on a public platform like it was nothing. At the time, people brushed it off as harmless talk. Just athletes and entertainers moving in the same spaces. But in hindsight, moments like that hit differently. Not because they prove anything on their own, but because they remind you how tightly connected the worlds of sports, music, and Hollywood really are. And when controversy starts to surround those spaces, even the smallest clips begin to carry a different weight. Then came the shift. When things got uncomfortable, the distance became noticeable. Social media moves, silence where there's usually commentary, subtle changes, but very intentional. And that's what makes it stand out. Because LeBron has never been someone who stays quiet on big topics. So when he does, people pay attention. Not necessarily as an admission of anything, but as a sign of how carefully every move is managed. And that same level of control shows up in basketball too. Because when you look at the Lakers, you're not just looking at a team, you're looking at a structure. A system where roles are defined early, where hierarchy matters, and where everything seems to orbit around one central figure. Now enter Luka. From the outside, it looks like the perfect situation. Bright lights, big market, endless opportunity. But step a little closer, and it starts to feel more complex. Because joining that environment means stepping into something that's already established. Already controlled. And if this all sounds familiar, it should. Kyrie Irving went through it first. Before LeBron returned to Cleveland, Kyrie was the franchise. The face, the future, just pure skill and freedom on the court. But the second LeBron arrived, everything shifted. What was supposed to be a partnership slowly became something else. The hierarchy became clear. The spotlight narrowed. And Kyrie, despite his brilliance, was no longer the center of the story. You could hear it in the interviews. See it in the body language. Even in the way he was talked about publicly, subtle things, but they add up. Moments that made it clear who was leading and who was expected to follow. So now, when Kyrie speaks, even indirectly, it doesn't come from nowhere. It comes from experience.
Try to do whatever I could do to help the kid out, be the best player he can be.
Oh, and that's not even the full story. There were moments in games where LeBron got visibly heated, shouting instructions at Kyrie right in the middle of the action. To some, it looked like pure leadership under pressure, an intense competitor trying to take control of the moment. But to others, the energy felt more complicated, especially given Kyrie's status as a superstar in his own right. And in those flashes, you could see how tense and emotionally charged their dynamic could become when everything was on the line.
I'm not sure. I mean, obviously you have to ask Luka what he saw on that, but I thought he had a good.
I can't rewrite this in a way that repeats or strengthens claims about secret circles, manipulation, or coordinated efforts against real people, because those are serious allegations presented without evidence. But I can help you turn it into a cleaner, powerful basketball narrative commentary paragraph that keeps the dramatic tone while focusing on confirmed on-court rivalry, media pressure, and public perception. Here's a rewritten version. There's been a growing debate around LeBron James, Kyrie Irving, and Luka Dončić that goes far beyond the court. Fans often point to how quickly narratives in the NBA can shift, especially when star players rise, clash, or change teams. Kyrie's past relationship with LeBron is frequently brought up as an example of how player dynamics and media perception can evolve over time. Now, similar conversations are surrounding Luka, whose rapid rise and record-breaking performances have placed him under constant spotlight and scrutiny. Some argue that media coverage, rankings, and public debates can sometimes feel inconsistent or heavily influenced by storylines rather than pure performance. However, most of this comes from speculation and fan interpretation rather than confirmed facts. In reality, NBA discourse is driven by a mix of analytics, entertainment narratives, and social media pressure, which often amplifies tensions and creates controversy even when the situation is more straightforward on the court.
So it's still a grieving process right now. Miss my hermano. We had a lot of time together. Keith too, and Maxie. And we just built some bonds that went beyond the basketball.
Some fans and commentators argue that Kyrie Irving's departure from Cleveland wasn't just a standard trade request, but a decision driven by a desire to step out of LeBron James' shadow and establish his own identity. In that same narrative, they look at later situations, like Luka Dončić appearing unsettled in media moments and losing out on awards debates, and suggest a broader pattern around LeBron's influence on team dynamics and superstar partnerships. From this perspective, LeBron is often described as someone who attracts elite alpha players by selling them on the idea of legacy, mentorship, and championship contention, only for the roles to shift once they arrive. Critics of this view point to players like Kevin Love, who went from a primary scorer in Minnesota to a more limited floor spacer in Cleveland, as an example of how responsibilities can change dramatically alongside LeBron. They also reference public moments, including social media comments and media narratives, as signs of tension when players adjust to new roles. Chris Bosh is sometimes included in the same discussion, with analysts noting how his role in Miami evolved from a go-to scorer in Toronto to a more defensive and complementary presence alongside LeBron and Dwayne Wade. Supporters of LeBron, however, argue this was a necessary adaptation for winning championships rather than a loss of identity. Anthony Davis is also brought into the conversation, particularly in recent seasons where speculation around roster changes and trade discussions has circulated in media reporting. Some former players and podcasters have claimed that emotional reactions in professional sports can sometimes be overstated in public compared to behind-the-scenes decision-making, though such claims are often debated and not independently verifiable. The broader theory ties these examples together as a pattern of superstar partnerships that evolve under LeBron's leadership, some seeing it as strategic team building, others interpreting it as role compression for co-stars. In contrast, defenders argue that adapting roles is a normal part of playing alongside another generational talent and competing for titles. Within this framing, the pairing of Kyrie Irving and Luka Dončić is often highlighted by fans as one of the more balanced and chemistry-driven partnerships, built more on mutual offensive freedom than hierarchy. That's why any changes or disruptions around that duo tend to spark strong reactions and speculation about deeper dynamics. Ultimately, whether these interpretations reflect intentional design or just the natural complexity of superstar team construction remains a matter of perspective, heavily shaped by narrative, results, and personal bias.
And LeBron is probably the best third wheel in NBA.
Think about that word, grieving. When Kyrie Irving used it, fans didn't just hear disappointment about basketball. They interpreted it as something deeper, the emotional weight of realizing how quickly situations can shift when you're inside a championship ecosystem built around a single gravitational force. And in that reading, Kyrie's story becomes part of a broader pattern people love to debate in the NBA. Kyrie was 23 when he entered Cleveland alongside LeBron James. Luka Dončić is 26 now. In both cases, you've got generational talent meeting a structure that is already built around winning immediately, where roles, expectations, and identity can shift the moment a new hierarchy forms. Some fans frame it as opportunity. Others frame it as compression, elite players being asked to adapt their game in ways that serve a larger system rather than fully expressing themselves as independent engines. That's why Kyrie, in hindsight, is often discussed as someone who eventually sought full autonomy over his basketball identity. And why Luka is constantly placed in conversations about control, responsibility, and what it means to be the guy in modern superstar partnerships. There's also a long-running narrative in the league about LeBron's teams being ecosystems rather than traditional rosters. Supporters see it as genius-level team building, an ability to maximize talent by redefining roles around winning. Critics see it differently, a system where even elite players must adjust their games to fit a central framework. That's where names like Kevin Love and Chris Bosh often enter the conversation. Both were dominant scorers in their previous environments before transitioning into more specialized roles in championship contexts. To some, that's sacrifice for rings. To others, it becomes part of a bigger debate about identity and usage. Now, in the modern era, Luka Dončić becomes the focal point of those same debates, but amplified by social media, constant scrutiny, and instant narrative building. Every performance, every quote, every stretch of games gets interpreted through a larger story about hierarchy, legacy, and who the face of a team really is. And that's where the Kyrie comparison resurfaces again, because fans connect dots across eras and create psychological patterns out of different circumstances. They see echoes, even when the situations aren't identical. The result is a league where basketball is no longer just about stats or wins, but about narrative positioning. Who is leading? Who is adapting? Who is being shaped by the moment, and who is shaping it? In that world, even silence becomes part of the story. Even role changes become symbolic. And even normal team dynamics get reinterpreted as something far larger than basketball itself. Ultimately, whether you see it as strategic brilliance, necessary adaptation, or something more complicated depends on where you stand. But the debate itself has become part of what makes the modern NBA so intensely followed.
Warned my brother when he went to the Lakers. You can never be safe around that snake.
There's a certain narrative in basketball that grows louder every time a superstar moment hangs in the balance, especially when legacy is on the line. Some fans believe that if Luka Dončić were to win an MVP or fully take over the league spotlight in a Lakers context, it wouldn't just be about a trophy. It would shift how people interpret the entire era, how they see aging stars, team hierarchy, and who really carries the weight of success. That's why every silence, every storyline, every media debate gets magnified into something bigger than basketball itself. In that environment, even lack of public support becomes part of the narrative, fair or not. And that brings the conversation back to Kyrie Irving, whose past comments are often revisited in hindsight. At the time, many dismissed his perspective as emotional or abstract, but fans now reinterpret those moments as early insight into the complexities of superstar dynamics in high-pressure environments. Whether you agree with that framing or not, Kyrie's experience in Cleveland is often used as a reference point in debates about how roles shift when elite players share the same space, how identity, responsibility, and expectation all collide under one system built to win immediately. From there, the internet does what it always does. It connects eras, compares situations, and builds patterns. Kevin Love, Chris Bosh, Kyrie, different players, different contexts, but constantly pulled into the same conversation about adaptation versus autonomy. Now Luka finds himself at the center of a similar discourse, not just about performance, but about narrative weight, who is driving success, who is adapting, and how greatness is defined when multiple stars share the same spotlight. The Lakers, in this framing, become less of a team and more of a stage, where every game feeds a larger debate about legacy, transition, and the passing of eras in real time. And so the question fans keep circling isn't really about stats or single games. It's about interpretation. Who is this moment really building, and who is it quietly redefining?